Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Trading with Ashley show. I hope you all had a wonderful, restful weekend. I know we had a wonderful time. We were at the beach all week and I enjoyed it, but gosh, it sure is good to get back to home base after you go through all the drama of unpacking your suitcase. That's no fun. But I wanted to take some time to talk to you about the trading week. So, in usual Sunday fashion, I am going to go through anything that might be affecting the market this week. But it looks like the main thing that's going to potentially affect the market is the drama around the tariffs. The tariffs just will not go away. It does create volatility, but I don't want you to be afraid of volatility. Volatility is actually what makes the stock market work, and I embrace it, and we are able to make money from it. So, speaking of making money, because that's why you're all here, I want to talk to you about something exciting I am offering you. My community is so cute. They have been begging me to start another challenge this year. We just completed the $25,000 challenge, and the challenge was how far can we take $25,000 and create premium from it that can then become our income? And we did incredibly well. We took the $25,000 that we started with, and in 7 weeks, we were able to create $5,400 that was ours to keep. So after it was all said and done with and the trades were closed, we had an incredible return. And so now they're ready for the second challenge. But let me just tell you real quick, you may say $5,400, that's not a lot of money, but for 7 weeks off of 25,000, if you were to compound those returns and do this every 7 weeks over and over again, you would have over $100,000 by the end of the year. So when you look at it from that standpoint, it's really impressive what you can do if you stick to a set of rules and you're really diligent about trading. Now, one thing that I do to actually ink more premium out of a trading week is I don't just take one trade and let it wait till expiration to take advantage of it. I take the same amount of money and I churn it over and over again. And that is what allows me to outperform the S&P by leaps and bounds. And so they say active money is what makes money. And our money in the community, it's definitely active. But the next challenge that I am going to do for the community, it's called the Buy Right Challenge. Now, don't let that title intimidate you. I'm actually offering a free webinar this Friday evening for anyone that wants to learn about the Buy Right Challenge and how you can effectively use this type of trading to grow your wealth. So within the community, we were able to get our accounts up to $30,000. So we're going to start with $30,000 for our trading within the community. But if you want to follow along the best you can after the webinar and just trade independently, you can use your account size and do whatever your account size allows. Now within the community, I'll be calling out the plays and then I'll be calling the entries and exits. So at the very least, you probably want to attend the Friday webinar. You register below because that is going to at least give you the baseline. So if you want to learn this skill, you can at least learn it. And if you're not in the community, well, at least you can do your best with the things that I teach you. And I think the reason these challenges are so popular within the community, it allows the traders to learn different ways to make money. There's so many various ways to utilize options to your advantage. And so by doing the different various challenges, they're learning different ways to trade. And the best part about anything that I'm teaching them is when they self-report that without me even calling the signals that they were able to take the lessons that they learned and start to produce income. That's my favorite part of the messages I receive because I want to teach everyone how to fish. I'm there to hold your hand to get you started, but ultimately I want you to learn this so that you can create the wealth for your family that I've created for mine. Plus, you can change your family tree by teaching it to your children or your grandchildren or anybody that will listen. Okay, let's go into the computer. I am going to review the happenings this week. And of course, I'm not going to leave you high and dry. I am going to give you a play for this week for you to consider. And the plays that I've been calling out, they've been doing really well. So I hope you're making good money with those. And remember, if you want constant plays throughout the week, join the community because I am rapid fire. Once I get going and I find good setups, there's no stopping me. So I enjoy it and I know the community enjoys it. Okay, let's go see what's happening. As promised, let's take a look at the $25,000 challenge so you can verify what it is that we accomplished. I have a wonderful member that tracks my trades. His name is Paul and his wife, Lisa. They do a great job, and I really appreciate them. So just wanted to shout out to Paul and Lisa. It's when you track your trades, you're able to really determine how best to utilize your money and what's working for you. So our win rate was 81% in this challenge. We did 72 trades and it lasted 7 weeks. So that was aggressive because I did about 10 trades a week. So it shows how I put my heart and soul into these challenges. And then if you come down here, this is what I really see is very interesting and how we were able to outperform the market. If you look at the total profit, it was $5,400. Now, it says collateral used was $271,000. But we didn't have that kind of money. What I did was I continued to use the collateral for various trades, as I explained. I would go in a trade, we'd make profit, I'd get out, and then we'd use that collateral for another profit. Now, the return was stellar. If you're looking at the average monthly return, 39%. And then here's where the rubber meets the road. It's the compounding effect. So the potential amount of money, if you started with the $25,000 and you compounded these returns, there's your over $100,000 in a year. And it was really a successful challenge, and I look to take the amount of money we created and then do something even more with it. And if you want to look at the details on compounding, here it is. And this shows you what would happen if you just kept taking every 7 weeks and making that kind of money. Let's take a look at our major events this week. So Monday is pretty quiet. On Tuesday, we had the NFIB Small Business Index. Consumer credit, also, it's Amazon Prime Day, so we'll have to watch for that and see what the excitement is around that. On July 9th, we get a peek of the minutes of the FOMC meeting. And then Wednesday is the tariff Trump deadline. So that will be a lot of excitement around that. And like I said, embrace the volatility. And then on Thursday, we have jobless claims. And we actually have 3 Fed speakers that day. We also get earnings on a few companies. We have ticker symbol DAL, CAG, and LEVI. And on Friday, it's the federal budget balance. My trade setup for this week, I am looking at Palantir. It had pulled back some, which was expected, and there's nothing wrong with the pullback, but where it sits technically is something that interests me. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So on the RSI, we're still over 50, so it's still in a bullish mode, and we're right here at the middle of the Bollinger Band. So when we have this setup, usually I'm really comfortable going for it at the middle of the band. You could go for the bottom, which would be okay as well. But usually when we are over 50 on the RSI, the middle of the band is used as a bounce support area. That's also the 20-day moving average. So I'm going to show you the put that I'm going to sell. And I'm not afraid of assignment. I do feel like there's a lot of bullish things coming in for Palantir. So let me show you the potential setup and how much you can make with this setup. Actually, there's 2 trades that I'm going to show you. One is a weekly, meaning it expires at the end of this week. And then the other one goes out a little bit further. So let's look right here. You have the 7/11 date. So that's this Friday. I'll take this trade out on Monday. And there's a couple of options you have. If you look right now where we're sitting on top of the Bollinger Band, we are in the middle, and it usually uses that as support. And that would give you, if you sold the $134 put, then that would give you $323 in premium if it ends the week at 134 or lower. Now that's an aggressive delta. You can see right here it's 0.47, and typically I go for 0.2. But it is at a critical level of support, so that's something to be considered. But just to be a little bit more conservative, I'm actually going to go down here to this 130 strike, and I am going to sell this put. I'll have to put up $13,000 in capital to make this 170, but let's send it to a ticket so you can see what it looks like. Here's what it looks like all filled out. You have your expiration date, which is 7/11. You have your strike, 130. And then you have your limit order. I'm putting in 170. So we'll see if this fills as long as we have Palantir stay where it is or dip down a little. It should fill. And then if you look at the preview, it shows you everything you're dealing with. You've got $170 that you'll receive. Now, this is showing me that the order cost is only $2,923. That's because margin is a part of the equation for me. But if you're dealing with just a cash account, you would have to have enough to actually purchase these shares. So that would be $13,000 because you take $130 times 100, and that's the $13,000. Now, some of you may say, well, that's a lot of money to put up to make 170, but you're looking at the return. So this is taking us 1 week to make this kind of money. So for the week, that would be 1.3%. But then if you did this every week, you'd multiply that by 52 to get your annual percentage. and that's a 68% return. So when you look at it that way, it really is impressive, and it shows you that you can significantly outperform the S&P by selling puts. Now, the other trade I am going to take is actually before earnings. So earnings are at the beginning of August, but I'm going to go out to August the 1st. Now, I have watched Palantir. It has a tendency to rise before earnings, but there's a measure of safety in this play because we will be getting out of this play before earnings, so I don't have to contend with the unknown of earnings. So I'm going to still look at that $130 area. I just want to show you a few things. Look, I could receive $585 for this strike price, but I do want to be a little bit more conservative because I am going further out, and that allows me the luxury to go further down in price and still get great premium. So I like this 125 level. That's been a strong level of support in the past. So if I wanted to, I would sell this put, and I would open this trade up tomorrow before it rises a lot in anticipation of earnings. And then let me show you what it looks like all filled out on a ticket. We would be receiving $387, and this time, because of the strike price we chose, it would only be $12,500 in capital that's needed. So let's look at the potential return. So if you take that $387 and you divide it by the $12,500, you're looking at a 3% return in 4 weeks. Well, if you multiply that by 12, because you would be doing this every month, that equals a 37% return. And again, the S&P 500 will usually return about 8 to 12% annually. So this trade is 37% annually. I'd have to be okay accepting Palantir at these levels, and I'm very bullish on Palantir, so I definitely would be okay accepting it at this 125 level before earnings or at the 130 at the end of this week. Don't forget to sign up for the free webinar before all the spots are filled. And if you just cannot wait and you're so excited about the Buy Right Challenge, I'm going to leave a video that explains it in a little bit more detail. You can watch that video right here.